हाँ प्रिया जी स्टार्ट हो गया, हम लाइव है।
Prabhuji, we can start now.
Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Mahabharata character series. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from Mahabharata. We are discussing the character of Arjuna. So last time we discussed how Arjuna he accepted the exile to follow the virtuous principle, because all the Pandavas, they had made a principle that if one person is there with Draupadi and anyone else enters, then he has to go to exile for 1 year. And although Arjuna entered to protect the property of Brahmana, but still he accepted this exile. Although everybody was telling, please don't go, there is no need for this, but still he insisted. And we saw that, Arjuna, when he went, he on a pilgrimage, he went to so many places. He associated with various sages, he heard from them, learned from them various things. And then at one place, he was attracted to the Nagaloka by Ulupi. Ulupi was attracted to him, and somehow she brought him to her place, and she pleaded with Arjuna to accept her. And Arjuna accepted her and gave her a child. So then Arjuna was brought back to the place where he was meditating on. So Ulupi, she gave a benediction to Arjuna that he will be undefeated among all the aquatics. So all the aquatic animals, they won't be able to do anything to harm Arjuna. So now Arjuna was traveling again. He came to a place which looked very sacred. At the same time, it was a desolated land. So he met some of the sages and asked them, is there any sacred and holy place nearby? So the sages, they told, yes, there are 5 very holy rivers here, and bathing in them, one can acquire great pious credits, great spiritual credits. But the problem is, this place, this river is infested. All these rivers, they're infested with crocodiles, alligators. And nobody can enter these rivers. Anybody who dares to enter, he's sucked inside and he's killed. So Arjuna, he remembered the benediction of Ulupi, and as a service, he wanted to serve the sages. So he entered the river, one of the 5 rivers. So whatever capacities, whatever capabilities we have, we should try to use it in service of God and service of the devotees of the Lord. That is the actual utilization of our skills. In that way, we will become successful, will become glorious. And that is the actual purpose of life, to use our skills in service of Krishna, to use our capabilities, use our talents to serve God and serve the devotees of the Lord. So that is the purpose of life. The human form is meant to serve Krishna, and because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Paurusham Drishu, I am the ability in man. Whatever we have, everything is given by God. So the best way is to serve Krishna with all our abilities. So Arjuna, because he was such a great devotee of the Lord, and he was himself a great great lover of Brahmanas, so he wanted to serve the Brahmanas. So he entered the river, which was full of crocodiles and alligators. As he entered, immediately one alligator caught hold of the leg of Arjuna. Immediately, Arjuna remembered that benediction which was given by Ulupi, and he felt immense power entering him. And immediately, within a second, he pulled out his leg, and alligator, that alligator was very powerful. And when that alligator saw this human being behaving in such a powerful way, it was completely shocking for him. So Arjuna swung his leg out and tossed the alligator out of the water. Alligator went and fell on a rock on the coast, and it was smashed and lost its life. It was a deathly blow for alligator. So all the sages, they were watching all this. They were very happy and satisfied by this, because now they would get a chance to take bath in this lake and river. As soon as this alligator died, a celestial damsel came out of the body of this alligator, Apsara, and everybody was surprised. So Apsara offered obeisances to Arjuna, and Arjuna was also surprised, not because how can alligator transform into Apsara. He was surprised because he wanted to know the reason of how a Apsara was put in the body of an alligator. So therefore Arjuna asked, who are you and how you were put in this situation? Because among all the species of life, aquatics are the lowest. So Arjuna asked, there must be some reason, either some curse of the sages or some other reason. So he wanted to know. And Arjuna was a great thinker. He was not just a Kshatriya. We know in Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter, Arjuna gives such wonderful reasons why he does not want to fight. And they are all very logical reasons. So Arjuna was a great thinker. Rather than being caught in the surprising events, he wanted to know the reason behind those events. So that is how a spiritualist, that is how a devotee should be. A devotee is always interested in seeing things with the eyes of scriptures. Shastra Chakshu. That is the actual purpose of hearing all the scriptures, that we develop the vision of scriptures. We should see the world with the eyes of Shastra. Shastra can protect us from physical harm, and Shastra can protect us from any other problems which may come in our life in terms of emotional, social, and spiritual problems. So therefore, we should be very, very interested in understanding the scriptures and apply them, practice them, so that we don't get confused, we don't get bewildered. Because a person who is reading scriptures every day, he does not get confused and bewildered when he sees some things happening, because he knows the laws of nature. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara samyatendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena digacchati. A person who has faith in the scriptures, he can get the actual knowledge. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. And when one has the eyes of scriptures, then he can be peaceful and satisfied. Because he understands, okay, whatever is happening, there is a reason behind this. Because nothing can happen without the sanction of the Lord. So the devotee does not get confused or bewildered. He wants to know the deeper reason of every event. So that's why Arjuna asked this Apsara. So she said, my name is Varga, and I have four other friends. We have all become proper alligators here. And actually, we were all very dear to Kuvera. And once we were going to meet him and satisfy him, we were going through forests. On the way, we saw a very, very powerful ascetic Brahmana. He was looking very handsome. He was radiating Brahminical tej. So these five apsaras, they were attracted by the effulgence, prowess of this Brahmana, and they wanted to show their beauty. They wanted to prove their beauty. Actually, they were also proud of their beauty. That's why Kunti Maharani tells that in this world, high birth, beauty, wealth, and knowledge, they can intoxicate a person. Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shribhir Edamana Madhakpaman Naivarhatya Vidhatum Vai Twamakinchana Gochara. So Kunti Maharani is telling that a person who is proud of his wealth, proud of his beauty, proud of his knowledge, he can never worship Krishna. Because a person is blinded by the opulence of all these things, he cannot have the humble demeanor to serve Krishna. Actually, all these opulences should be used in service of Krishna, otherwise they can blind us. So that's what Vamana Dev also tells to Bali Maharaj, that only my devotee, because he is using all these assets in my service, he does not get bewildered, he does not get intoxicated. Tatraya mad anugrahat. Only by my mercy, one can be, out of the intoxication of these things. So these apsaras, they were so very proud. They started dancing and singing. And as they started singing and dancing more and more, because of all the noise which was happening, the sage slowly opened his eyes to see what is happening here. And the sage, he didn't feel lust because he had already transcended material lust. But he became disgusted seeing the frivolous nature of these apsaras. He felt actually pity for them. And as a great saintly personality always wants to do some welfare for other people. So this sage, he wanted to teach them a lesson. He cursed them that as you have tried to pull me, I curse you that you will become alligators and you will pull people out of their religious duties. Generally when the Brahmanas, they do their Gayatri, they go to river and they stand in the river and do Gayatri. So this Brahmana gave them curse that you will pull people down when they will be doing Gayatri. So then Varga said, that's how we have become alligators here. So when a person becomes proud of his skills and capacities, natural tendency is one becomes offensive. And he offends great people, great personalities. So that's what happened with these apsaras also. And she said we were horrified and we fell at the feet of the sage and begged forgiveness and seeing our genuine sincere repentance. The sage, he became merciful and he said, okay, in future one very, very powerful person will come and he will deliver you. He will pull you out of the water and then you will be delivered. So we can see in the scriptures many occasions where great personalities, they may speak some harsh words, they may give curses. But whenever a great personality curses, that curse is a benediction. A devotee's curse is also a benediction, because a devotee, a great devotee of the Lord, he is only interested in bringing a person close to Krishna. Yena kena prakaren, somehow or other, a person should come close to Krishna. If it is needed to give benedictions, he'll give benedictions. Or if it is needed to curse, he'll give curses. But a devotee, he is never selfish, is not interested in his own intention, selfish motives. He is just concerned about the welfare of a personality. We can see in the case of Narad Muni, as he was walking by and he saw Nalakuvar and Manigriv. They were bathing in Mandakini Ganga with women naked. They were performing so many sinful activities. Narad Muni felt compassion for them. He cursed them. Tayor anugraharthaya shapam dasyam idam jagau. Bhagavatam describes, to show compassion to these people, Narad Muni cursed them. So therefore, when we come in association of the spiritual people, when we come in association of devotees, many times in course of our services, we may be chastised, we may be dealt in a harsh way, but we should understand that the intention, the basic intention of a devotee is to help us. They may speak in a way which we may not like, which is not palatable, but we should never have grudges towards the devotees, because they are only interested in helping others. So therefore this Varga, she said, okay, and O Arjuna, O great personality, today that prophecy has come true now, and you have come and you have delivered us, delivered me. And she said, please liberate my other friends also. All the 5, they had become alligators, so that we can go to heaven. So Arjuna, as a service, he liberated other 4 also. So this lake, it was made by Agastya Rishi, and it was a very, very powerful lake, very pious. But because of these alligators, it had become unapproachable. But now Arjuna purified them. So we can see here that Arjuna, being a Kshatriya, he is always protecting the Brahmanas. So Kshatriyas, they always act as protectors. And that is their main role, that is their dharma. The dharma of a Kshatriya is to protect their dependents, bring them close to Krishna, bring them close to dharma. That's why Krishna is always interested in putting devotees as the kings, because the devotees, they protect the citizens physically and spiritually also. That is actual protection, not just physical but spiritual also. So after delivering all these apsaras, Arjuna, he came to Prabhas Kshetra and he met Krishna there. And he wanted to know about Subhadra more. So how did Arjuna know about Subhadra? Actually, when Arjuna was staying in Gurukula of Dronacharya, a cousin of Krishna named Gada. So Krishna is many times called as Gadagraja. He was also studying with Arjuna in the Gurukula of Drona. So many times they were good friends, and many times they would sit and talk about their family, and Gada would tell about the humble and gentle nature of Draupadi, how beautiful she is, how she is the reservoir of all the qualities. And hearing about Subhadra, Arjuna, he got attracted to her. So that's the way to get attracted to Krishna also. If we keep hearing about Krishna again and again, we will develop attraction for him. And just like Rukmini Devi, she got attracted. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shanvatam te Nirvishya karna vivarai harato angatapam रूपं दृशां दृशिमताम् अखिलार्थलाभं त्वय्यच्युता विशति चित्तमपत्रपं मे. So Rukmani Devi, when she writes a letter to Krishna, she tells that, "Oh my Lord, I have heard about you." She had never seen Krishna. She had just heard about Krishna from the sages who would come and recite the glories of Krishna in the assembly of her father. So that's how when we keep hearing about the various pastimes of Krishna, qualities of Krishna regularly, just like Arjuna got attracted to Subhadra, naturally we will also get attracted to Krishna. And that is spiritual life all about, to become conscious of God in all circumstances, to become conscious of Krishna in all circumstances. So Arjuna, he wanted to know about Subhadra more. So Arjuna, he was so very happy that he met Krishna, and he told Krishna, "Oh Krishna, I went to so many pilgrimage places." And Krishna was very happy to hear. And he said, "Nice, nice. It is very great that you have gone to so many places and you have increased your spiritual credits." Generally, in today's age, when people they go to holy place, they go just to take a bath and have some darshan of the temples there and return. But the scriptures they describe that the purpose of a holy place is not just to take bath in the river. The purpose is to associate with devotees, to hear from them about Krishna. That is the main purpose of the pilgrimage. If if somebody is not doing this and he just going to the places as a sightseeing, thing, then he will not get the actual success. He will not get the actual merits. So Arjuna, he asked Krishna about Subhadra also, because Krishna was a friend of Arjuna, so he could speak freely with him. So Krishna said, "Oh yes, Arjuna, now Subhadra is of marriageable age, but unfortunately, Balram, because he is elder brother, and he has some inclination for Duryodhan, so he has decided to marry Subhadra with Duryodhan." And when Arjuna heard this, he was shocked. It was like thunderbolt for him. He felt so very sad. Krishna knew that Arjuna was also attracted to Subhadra, and Krishna also wanted that Subhadra should marry Arjuna, because Krishna was not in favor of Subhadra being married to Duryodhan, but because Balram was a senior personality, he was like a fatherly figure, so he could not rebel against him visibly. But Krishna, he told Arjuna that, "Look, I know that you want to marry Subhadra, but you won't be able to enter the palace of Subhadra, because Subhadra, she stays with Balramji in his palace and she does not make any public appearances. But there is one way to see her. Balramji, he is very, very generously disposed towards Brahmanas. He invites them and he serves them, and he engages Subhadra also to serve the Brahmanas. Because the purpose is, Balram was thinking that if Subhadra serves the Brahmanas and gets their blessings, then she will get a good husband. So Krishna said, "You dress as a Brahmana and a mendicant." Because amongst the Brahmanas also, sannyasis, Balramji is very, very generous and is favorably disposed towards the sannyasis. So you dress as a sannyasi and you go to the you go to the palace where Balramji is staying. So naturally, Balram will invite you. So by this time, when Arjuna came to meet Krishna, Chaturmas had come, and in Chaturmas, the mendicants, they don't travel anywhere. They stay at one place and do their bhajan and do their meditation. So Arjuna, when he heard this, he liked this point. He agreed. So now it is very interesting to see that people generally they feel that if I'll go to Krishna, I'll not get anything material. I'll have to be just satisfied with spiritual things. But actually, we can see that Krishna gives the best of both worlds to his devotees. If Krishna sees that, okay, this devotee, if I'll give him all the benedictions, he will not misuse them. He will give everything to his devotee. Krishna is not a sadistic God who likes to keep his devotees in poverty and distress. He is most magnanimous. He is Karuna Sindhu. And therefore, his only intention is somehow or other, this person should come close to me. And for this purpose, he orchestrates the life of his devotee in such a way that the devotee comes close to him. So, hearing this proposal of Krishna, Arjuna agreed and he was happy. One may question that why Arjuna is using the dress of a mendicant for such purpose. Because many times people, they put the garb of a mendicant and a sadhu and do wrong things. They dress as a sannyasi or a renunciant and do so many wrong things. And here also Arjuna is dressing like a renunciant to get married. The point is that it was done with the sanction of Krishna. And Krishna is the embodiment of dharma. He is the embodiment of all the scriptures. Vedo Narayano Sakshat. Krishna is the embodiment of all the scriptures. Krishna can never do anything which is adharmic. So therefore, when somebody approaches Krishna, Krishna fulfills the desire in a dharmic way. It may look that it is not dharmic, but actually Krishna knows the dharma more than any of us because he is the maker of all the rules and the laws of nature. Vedesha sarvairahameva vedyo Vedant Krit Veda Videvacham. He knows the Vedas because he has made the Vedas. From the breath of Mahavishnu, the Vedas are coming out. So therefore, Arjuna, he wanted to marry Subhadra, but he wanted to marry her in a dharmic way. And he wanted to take consent of Subhadra also. There was nothing adharmic in that. So Krishna and Arjuna, they planned, and Krishna said, look, if at all you want to marry Subhadra, you cannot marry her, in a straightforward way. The best is to kidnap her. There are different kinds of marriages mentioned in the scriptures. So one of the marriages is called Rakshasa Vivaha. There is Gandharva Vivaha, Brahma Vivaha, Rakshasa Vivaha. So in the Rakshasa Vivaha, the bride, if the bride is consenting, then the bridegroom can exhibit his heroism and take away the bride, defeating all the other opponents. If the bridegroom takes away the bride and marries her with her consent, then it is called Rakshasi Vivaha. And it is mentioned in the scriptures. It is also okay because the consent of the bride is taken into consideration. So Arjuna, he wanted to make sure that Subhadra also is inclined for this. So because he had not seen Subhadra so far, and Subhadra had not seen him. So Arjuna wanted to make sure that okay, Subhadra is on the same page. So as planned, Arjuna, he took the garb of a mendicant and started living in the vicinity of the palace. of Balramji. And Balramji, when he saw such very powerful, handsome, attractive, sage, ascetic mendicant, naturally he invited him, not just for a lunch. He said that, in this 4 months of Chaturmas, you stay inside my palace. Inside my palace does not mean, he was staying in the palace with all the opulence, with, ladies moving around. No, it's actually, the palace means it was a huge compound, and there was a separate place for the sadhus, for the mendicants, where they can, be in seclusion and meditate and do their duties properly. So Arjuna, he was more than happy. He entered and he started staying there. And Balramji invited him for lunch, and he engaged Subhadra to serve him. So as Subhadra was serving, she saw this very handsome, beautiful, powerful sannyasi. And looking at him, she became attracted to him. And she was thinking, oh, Balramji wants me to marry Duryodhan, but this sannyasi is better bridegroom than Duryodhan. So that's what she was thinking. And as she was serving him very attentively, day after day, her attraction for this sannyasi, this mendicant, increased. So that is the way to develop attachment. That is the way to develop attraction for someone. If we serve somebody personally, with care, with attention, naturally we will develop attraction for that personality. We can see in the life of Narad Muni, as he was a small boy, he himself tells, every day I was engaged in serving the devotees of the Lord. Uchishtalepan anumodito dujay sakritsma bhunjay tadapasta kilbishai evam pravrittasya vishuddha chetasastad dharma evatma ruchi prajayate. So this small boy, he was serving every day with attention, and he was taking the remnants of food also. In this way, he became very, very attracted and attached to the devotees. Tasyayume anurakta. Anurakta means I was attached to the devotees. Because, if we want to advance in spiritual life, we have to get attached to the devotees. If we are not attracted and attached to the devotees, then we will get attracted and attached to the, material glamour of the world. What it means to get attached to devotees, to serve them with all faith, with all sincerity. Hat seva dwaram ahur vimukte tamo dwaram yoshitam sangi sangam. If we serve the devotees of the Lord, then we are on the path of liberation. Hat seva dwaram ahur vimukte. For sure one gets liberated if one serves the devotee of the Lord. And actually this principle is applicable everywhere. The more we serve somebody, the more we get attracted and attached to that personality. That is the principle of attraction. And that's how it works. So Krishna, when he saw that, oh, Subhadra and Arjuna, they are attracted to each other, he was very happy because he was the matchmaker. He was perfect matchmaker. He made all the plans very nicely. And after 4 months, 4th month was getting over, and 1 year of exile of Arjuna was also getting over. Krishna called Arjuna one day secretly and told him that now it is time to act. Now you have to do something, because Balramji is going to marry Subhadra with Duryodhan sometime. If you don't act now, then it will be too late. So Krishna said, I'll give you my chariot, I'll give you my horses, and you kidnap Subhadra. And he made the plan. He told the plan. He said, every year, there is a festival which happens in the Raivataka mountain, and the whole royal family, along with Subhadra, everybody will be there. And there is not much army that time. So you can go and kidnap Subhadra and take her away. So Arjuna, he gave up the garbs of the mendicant and he put on the royal cloths and adorned with armor and dandiva and the quiver of full of arrows. He was looking like a very, very royal, very regal personality now. And he was watching all the festivity going on there from a distance. So before that, Krishna, he just wanted to check with Subhadra again. Is she still interested in marrying Duryodhan? She is interested. So, Krishna went to Subhadra and said, how are you? What is your opinion about marrying Duryodhan? So Subhadra, she gave such a disgusted look. Just by the expressions, Krishna understood. And he started describing the qualities of Arjuna. And he described the glories, the prowess, the strength of Arjuna, how he was so very powerful, heroic, such heroic personality. And hearing this, Subhadra, she was completely captivated. And then Krishna told that actually Arjuna is here. Subhadra was completely surprised. She said, how come? How is it possible? Wouldn't everyone have known if Arjuna would have been here? How is this possible? Because Arjuna is such a powerful Kshatriya. It would have been the news of the talk of the town. And then immediately she understood, oh, that mendicant. That person is Arjuna. I always was wondering that he cannot be a sannyasi because the way he would walk, he had a gait like a lion, he had a voice like thundering of clouds, very broad chests, well built. So Subhadra, he jumped in happiness. Krishna told her, don't be so excited. Don't show any signs. Arjuna will act in right time. Don't worry. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha sukkeshu vigata spriya vitaraga bhaya krodha stitadhir munirichyate. A person who is on the path of spirituality, a devotee of the Lord, he is equipoised in all circumstances. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha. When problem comes in the life of a devotee, he does not get disturbed so much. Sukheshu vigata spriha. And when the happiness is there, he does not forget Krishna. He remains fixed in service of God. So Srila Prabhupada, he writes in this purport that a devotee, he always has a mood that, oh my Lord, I deserved much more, but you are giving me so less. It is your mercy. Otherwise, whatever I am getting is nothing for what I have done in the past. I have done so many sinful things. But by your mercy, O my Lord, I am getting just a token of that. Tattenu kampam sushamikshamano bhunjanu evatmukritam vipakam ridavagava purbhir vidhan namaste jivet yo mukti pade sadayabha. So that is how a devotee feels. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha sukheshu vigata spriha. And when happiness comes, he does not get so much elated that he forgets the goal of life. That's what happens many times. When happiness comes, we forget the basic duties. That's what Krishna begins, by telling. That's why he tells in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Matra sparshastu kaunteya sheet ushna sukha dukkha agama apaino anitya tam satikshasva bharata. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, oh Arjuna, learn to tolerate happiness and distress. It is very interesting, It is okay if somebody tells tolerate the distress, but how to tolerate the happiness? Why to tolerate the happiness? Because that is more, sensitive and dangerous phase. where we can forget Krishna very easily, and we may do something which is not so much favorable. So that's why Krishna is telling Subhadra that don't get so much excited. Maintain your, calm, be equipoised, and in due course of time, for sure, Arjuna will come and he'll do the needful. So the festival came, and Subhadra was there with all the royal family, and Arjuna. First time he was not first time. Now they had been with together for a long time. Arjuna was, Subhadra was serving him. So Arjuna now saw Subhadra, and Subhadra, when she saw Arjuna dressed in royal clothes, with armor, with bow and arrows, she was delighted. She leapt in joy. Before anybody could react, Arjuna charged to this place, caught her by her hand, put her on his chariot, and fled. It was so quick that nobody could, even understand what happened. That is one of the quality of Arjuna. Very quick. And, after a few seconds, the Yadus, they realized, oh, what happened? And they were infuriated. They started calling and shouting, who is that wretch who dared to take away our daughter? We'll kill him. So one of the Kshatriya, one of the Yadus, he could see and said, oh, it seems that he is Arjuna. So realizing that he was Arjuna, they said, if he is Arjuna, then we are ready to fight. So they charged back in the city of Dwarka, announced the war against Kurus. And Balramji and all the Kshatriyas, all the Yadus were there. Everybody was so very angry and they were very, very furious. Balramji, he said, Arjuna was, he was like our friend. How come he has acted in such a inimical way? Anyways, whatever may be the case, by abducting a Subhadra like this, he has declared a war. And we will fight back. And we wage a war against the Kuru dynasty. In this way, Arjuna, Balram was very, very angry. And all the Kshatriyas, they agreed with Balram. And, they were actually, all the Kshatriyas were ready to charge. They were telling their subordinates, oh, bring the chariot, bring my weapon, bring my armor. Balramji said, oh, heroes, please wait. I am seeing that Krishna is silent. And Arjuna is a friend of Krishna. Krishna must have some plans. So let us hear Krishna first. So even though Balramji was the elder brother, but he was always aware of the superior position of Krishna. So in spiritual life, even if somebody is elder in age, but if somebody understands that this personality is elder in devotion, then one should not hesitate to take instructions from him. There is something called Vayovriddha and there is something called Jnana Vriddha. Vayovriddha means elderly by age. Jnana Vriddha means elderly in knowledge. So therefore, a saintly personality or a devotee should not be judged according to the age. If he is very mature in his understanding and elderly in that sense, one should take instructions from him. And for that matter, one should take guidance from the superiors always before acting. And everybody knew that although Balramji is superior, Balramji himself knew that although I am an elder brother, but Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Balramji is always serving Krishna in all the various ways. So Balramji wanted Krishna to speak and he wanted to hear his opinion. Krishna, he was unfazed. He knew that, Arjuna wanted to marry Subhadra and Subhadra wanted to marry him. and it was him who had made this match. So now it was his duty to make sure that this match meets a perfect end. So Krishna, he very calmly he said, "Oh Kshatriyas, oh warriors, oh Yadus, I don't think that Arjuna has insulted us. On the contrary, he has increased our pride." How? So all the Kshatriyas were surprised to hear this. Krishna said, actually, Arjuna knew that it will be insult if we would have given Subhadra to somebody in return of some dowry. It is insult for Kshatriyas like us. And Arjuna, he has exhibited his Kshatriya skills and he has proved himself worthy of Subhadra. That's why he has increased the glory of Subhadra and he has increased the glory of Yadu dynasty. And secondly, so point by point, Krishna was telling. Secondly, he said, when Arjuna was taking Subhadra away, she didn't protest. She was also happy. So that means she also wanted to marry him. So why you are blaming Arjuna? And thirdly, he said, Pandu dynasty is a very, very illustrious and powerful dynasty. And Kuru dynasty, basically. So if we make alliances with Kuru dynasty, we will be more powerful and it will bring auspiciousness for us also. So therefore, please consider my proposal. Fourthly, he said, actually, because now Arjuna has already taken away Subhadra, we cannot marry Subhadra to any other person. So better now call Arjuna back, give him all the gifts and accept them. So nobody could say anything. Actually, Krishna spoke so expertly that the opinions of everybody completely turned. Everybody was actually agreeing to what Krishna was telling. So interestingly, this whole marriage affair may look like an ordinary love affair between a boy and a girl, and boy comes and kidnaps the girl and girl is running away with the boy. But we have to understand, in modern circumstances, there may not be any considerations of dharma. But Arjuna and Krishna and Subhadra, they all were completely aware of the dharmic principles. So Subhadra was not acting whimsically. She consulted with her brother Krishna. She informed Krishna that this is my desire. And Arjuna was also not acting whimsically. Mahabharata describes that while Arjuna was staying in Dwarka, he informed Yudhishthir Maharaj about his intentions. And he told that I want to marry Subhadra, and he took the blessings of Yudhishthir Maharaj. So everything was happening according to the dharmic principles. So therefore, we have to understand, Vedic culture is not a culture of independent decisions. Vedic culture teaches us to be culturally dependent and intellectually independent. That is Vedic culture. What does this mean? Culturally dependent means we should never ever disrespect the superiors. Always take guidance from the superiors, but at the same time, we have to use our intelligence. Even if we are disagreeing with the proposals of the superiors, we should never ever disrespect them. There are many occasions in the scriptures. Prahlad Maharaj, he never accepted the philosophy of Hiranyakashipu, but he was always respectful towards him. Bali Maharaj, he didn't accept the instructions of Shukracharya, but he never disrespected him. So they were intellectually independent, but culturally they were dependent. They never ever disrespected their superiors. So therefore, according to Vedic culture, one should always respect the superiors and always take guidance from the superiors. And if they are right, we should follow them. So therefore, Krishna, he persuaded everyone. Everyone agreed. So Arjuna, he knew that, Krishna will convince everyone. So they were also driving slowly. Arjuna was not driving fast. So slowly they were moving towards Indraprasth, and on the way, Balramji sent some messenger, and messenger came and informed Arjuna that please come back. Balram has invited both of you. So Arjuna and Subhadra came back, and Balramji and entire Yadu dynasty welcomed Arjuna, and there was a huge, wonderful celebration. And Arjuna was given lots of gifts, and with proper gifts and proper rituals being performed, now ultimately Arjuna departed with Subhadra for Indraprastha. As they reached Indraprastha, all the citizens, they were so very happy and delighted, because first of all, they were in separation from Arjuna for 1 year now. And when Arjuna returns, he's not alone, he's coming with another bride. So it was, a bonus for them. Everybody was happy. But there was one person who was not happy. She was Draupadi. Why Draupadi was unhappy? That we'll discuss in the next class. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So I think there are no questions, so we'll end here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.